and gentlemen, welcome. It's been a minute. It's holiday season, but you see. I'm going to put on my winning attire. You
I
see
don't
how
I
it
don't even
is.
know if we stole one necessarily
Gifted. We were
or
gifted. It was
or
gifted.
if it was handed to us, whatever it was. Feels good to be here.
It was
We
gifted.
were really close to being on the other end of things, and that would have been unfortunate. I can only imagine what their locker room sounds like right now. I'd assume silent.
You
Uh
talk about the Bulls?
yeah, and
Oh yeah, they've
and
been
and
sick.
no, this is not a shot at the Bulls. They played a hell of a basketball game. To lose that way is unfortunate. We were almost on the other end of it with that foul. But
Even
that's
before then, we'll get into it when Derek Jones missed the layup, the free throw.
yeah.
But y'all know how it goes. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 81 of the Splashcast, the ATL Edition. No pregame, no pregame. We jumping right into it. I am your co-host, Reggie.
I'm your happy, blessed, and fortunate co-host. No, go Hawks, baby.
Fortunate, man. Y'all know how it is when it comes to the ATL Edition. We talk about the Hawks, the Dream, the Falcons, and the Braves. We call it, normally say Braves, Falcons, and Hawks. We call it our oldest, middle, and youngest child. Wow, the Clippers are the Chargers are beating the Miami Dolphins as we speak, which is not what
Correct.
I needed to see. With that being said, y'all know it is Norwood. How you feeling, man? How's your weekend?
My weekend was great. Falcons did not lose this weekend.
A win is a win, baby. A
So
loss is a win. A
yes,
loss
in tech,
is not a
yes, we
you know
did
what? Y'all know
not
what
lose
I'm
this
saying.
weekend, and the Bucks lost this weekend, and the Hawks won today. I will take this as a successful weekend. Big W's around.
Big W's around here, dog. So we actually on this show is gonna be mainly Hawks focused. You see it. Shout out to AJB with the apparel. ATL ho.
Yeah, let's keep it
Uh,
real here. Braves are in off season. Falcons have a bye week, and it's just the Hawks. We're gonna cover a couple extra things in here, a couple talking points, but for the most, yeah, this is the Hawks podcast. Sit down, relax. Let's get to it.
yeah, man. So let's get started, man. Let's get started. Let's start out with the Hawks.
Wait, hold
Uh,
on 1 second. Like, follow, subscribe to
mm-hmm,
Splashcast at
like
Ludacris, at Atlanta Raised, and at the Splashcast.
on
My
all your
apologies.
DSPs, on all your DSPs. Y'all know, the Hawks this last week, man. We have had actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The last 10 games, the Hawks are 3-7. Um, it has been a rough go. We have
That's a
a
very
bunch
nice
of
way to put it,
things,
Reggie.
but the biggest thing, of course, is the injuries, man. You got John Collins, DeJounte Murray, until tonight, DeAndre Hunter, Bogdanovich was out for a long time, but he's back now. Um, it was just all the injuries hit at one time, right before this wild, right before this wild schedule that we had, where we played Cleveland, Sacramento, Houston, Miami, Philly, Orlando, Denver, OKC, New York, Brooklyn, and Chicago. I think 7 of those 11 games are against contending teams, maybe 8. Um, so that it started out tough.
And I'm oddly enough, I think that's one of the best things that probably happened to us. We had some games and had some turmoil. I hope we've found some humility in this.
Oh
I
yeah, we
think
got to
we've
talk about
also
that.
been. I think we've also had the ability to uncover some players, uh, who we did not maybe know were good, specifically Forrest, Culver, and just more AJ Griffin time. But yeah, that has been extremely valuable to me. I think into the team.
So let's start out with tonight's game. The Hawks. This might go down early as one of the games of the year in the NBA.
Fair.
Back and forth. Got some free basketball overtime against the Chicago Bulls. You know, they have their dynamic duo of Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, who did not disappoint. And, of course, we're missing John Collins. Bogey's back, and he announced himself in the Brooklyn game. Trey is here, but DeJounte Murray is out.
Can we also make a joke that when we make plans, God laughs? Me and Reggie thought we was gonna do this podcast an hour ago.
We did.
We thought that the Hawks had won it and wrapped up, easy game, close it out here, walk in the park.
Then I don't know. So I actually missed the first half. I've had a busy week, and I ended up I've had a busy week, and I had the opportunity. I actually stayed up all night last night doing some work, so I had the opportunity to either watch the first half of the game or go to sleep, and I decided to go to sleep. So
those decisions had to be made.
Yeah, because I got to get up, and I'm on call for work. So I was on call for work, and a giant customer. Yep, a giant customer. Watch yourself, Kev. A giant customer went out of power. And y'all know I work for the power company. I went out for the power company.
This is great.
So I didn't really get any sleep between working at home and working at work. I didn't get no sleep the past 2 days. But so I did turn on the second half, and first thing I noticed was Trae Young had missed like 7 shots. He was like 2 of 10, 2 of 11 in the first half. I was like, damn. But we had the lead. Did you watch the whole game?
I watched the entire game.
What happened in the first half? Now, I will say it looked like he was wheeling and dealing now. He had 14 assists.
The same thing that has always frustrated me is that if Trey could just ever get past himself, he's unstoppable. When it comes to a facilitator, I don't think there's anybody quite as good as he is right now. But his need to have to shoot more shots than everybody else is mind-boggling to me. He just that will always be in the way. But we played good defense. We didn't get outside of ourselves. And we were sloppy with the ball. We turned the ball over a little bit more than I would have liked to. But we played good defense, and we did a very good job specifically on DeMar, through the first half specifically. I think he only had 7 points through the first half.
Oh, but he turned up in the fourth quarter, though.
Yeah. But still, for the game, if you tell me he has this type of game every time, I'm super okay with it.
Yeah. So, before we get to the Hawks, or while we're talking about the Hawks, the first highlight for the Bulls was Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams statistically didn't have a great game, but I'm really impressed with his ability to guard almost everybody. He guarded Trae Young, Bogey, AJ Griffin, Capella, everybody. So it looked his offensive game he can't shoot, but he looked pretty good.
It's gotten better though. He's willing to attack the basket. The mid-ranger is a little bit better. He's still not a positive on offense yet, but he's come a long way. My biggest thing with him is he's kind of got the same issue as a Kungwu where he's undersized, so he's not a very good rebounder.
He's not really undersized though. At the 4, he's 6'9".
Well, he's at the 4 and Vooch is at the 5. That doesn't give you a lot of great rebounds.
Yeah. Capella. So in this game, for stats wise, Trey had 19 and 14, but he had 19 points on 18 shots. That was the issue. AJ Griffin, who ended up hitting the game-winning shot, was 17 points on 17 shots, and he was 2 of 11 on 3. The Hawks, the theme of this during this 10-game slide, this 3-7, 3-8 type thing, is the Hawks' shooting percentage is awful. Especially from 3, and is led by Trae Young, AJ Griffin.
Funny story.
AJ Griffin started out really well, but he's been cold too. Yeah, AJ Griffin, our rookie out of Duke, shoots a lot.
You can't shoot every 3 that you get past, bro. Number one. And why do it? As good as a team this is, and as an offensively gifted team as this is, Why do we never pump fake? When you pass us the ball, we're shooting it. There is no is he gonna pump fake and drive to the basket? Not a question. That shot is shot before you get there.
Mm-hmm. And the thing about AJ
And
Griffin, though, oh, go ahead. I didn't know you know. Go ahead.
that for me is frustrating because I think that allows us that makes us shoot more threes than we probably should. I
Mm-hmm.
think we could get some good twos and get some good free throws, easy shots, specifically when our offense is struggling like it.
Yep. So if you notice in this game as we play the highlights, the Hawks in the third quarter just turned up on the Bulls. We ended up going up by as many as 13 points. And we really had the game in tow. And the same thing that has happened, and I'll gotta keep rolling. But the same thing that has happened over this season, over and over again, is that the Hawks have had the lead late into the third quarter, late into the fourth quarter, and I don't mean like a 1-point lead, a 2-point lead. If you look right here, we're up 12. Like we've had double-digit leads in the second half, late in the second half, and then all of the sudden, we do like that. We do stupid plays like that. Trey is pressing. I don't know what he's trying to do when it comes to.
He's trying to prove to everybody that he is who he says.
Not even that though. It's
bro. He wore "I'm the king of the boardwalk" shoes in New York.
I mean, I would too. I like that energy. But and what we're referring to is Trae Young wore some blue and orange. I'm the king of the boardwalk. I'm the king of Broadway. That's what he said. I'm the king of Broadway shoes in New York when we played New York, and we didn't have nobody.
And you got your head whooped by like 40. You ain't the king of nothing.
Yeah, New York took that.
Hey,
they
man,
took
bring
that
them shoes back.
Yeah, they took that personally. But I like that energy.
Rightfully so. But why do we have to go into every game and piss everybody off? We got to piss off every ref and every team before the game starts.
Hey, man, you can't. So we said it before when we made the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years ago. I was like, we are playing the role of the villain. Like people don't want us here. They don't respect us. They don't respect the Hawks. They didn't think that we deserved it. All of this stuff. And I like that role. I like it. But you got to be able to play within yourself when you do it. Trey allows too many players to get in his head. He tries to like answer. So if somebody comes and hits a three on him, he's going to come back and take that 3-point shot no matter where it is on the court.
Immediately.
And that's just that can't go. That can't happen.
Sometimes you have to use your common sense and say, "Hey, we need a good possession right now."
We do.
Not a 40-foot three just because. And he makes just enough of them at the right time that people always forget about all the crazy shots that he makes.
I'm about to say not enough of them. He just makes them at the right time. Like tonight, for example.
Some of the right time.
I do like Trey. Trey does have. So I don't want to blame anybody because it's not really an issue because this is the kind of mentality you want your star to have. But I blame Lou Williams. Follow me on this. Lou Williams went up to Trey and told him, this is your team. If this team is going to go, you have to be the engine, right? You have to be the one to take the shot. You have to be the one to do this. You have to be the one to do that. And he's taking that to heart. The problem is Trey doesn't take good shots. And when you don't take good shots, you become not a curse, but you become an issue. You become that's the word. You become a liability. And we are missing so much shooting. When you have Bogey hurt and you lose out on Gallo, those issues you missed so much shooting, and he didn't trust his teammates. To me, you could tell he doesn't trust his teammates, and he was pressing.
Yes, and that has become more evident than anything now.
Mm-hmm.
There is no trust either with the GM and the players he picked. There's no trust in doing what the coach says. There's no trust in the actual players, because even how DeJounte said after the game 2 games ago or 3 games ago when they beat the Nuggets, he was like, you got to pass it to the players who haven't been playing because they've been practicing with us. That's all we got right now. But Trey, if you haven't been out there, he is looking you off. And if he don't really want to give you the ball, he's still looking you off.
Man.
And you see what happens. We're a very difficult team when the scoring is balanced. We're a very difficult team to stop.
Yeah. So Trey, and the thing is, Trey is dangerously getting into Russell Westbrook territory. He's averaging 28 points a game if you round up. 28 points a game, 3 rebounds, 10 assists, a steal, and half a block. Well, a steal. I won't say the block. The problem is when Trey goes nuclear, 33 points, 35 points, 40 points, nobody else gets involved. And it was most evident. I know we talked about the last few games, but it was most evident in the Houston game where we lost against Houston in Houston, where Trey and DeJounte went for like 80 points. And we lost 128-122. Trey had 44. DeJounte had 39. But we didn't get John Collins involved, who actually had a really good game the game before that against the Sacramento Kings. And when you do that, you isolate everybody else. And for the first time, and I told you we was going to get into this Trey Young, Nate Robinson beef. For the first time, Nate said something. He said something. I don't care what y'all say. We're not privy yet to be in the locker room. We're not privy yet to be in the media room. And they're saying it was a private matter. There's no way that Nate has not addressed Trey Young and DeJounte Murray playing two-man ball. It was nice. It was fun to watch until the rest of the team started going off for Houston. And now you telling everybody else, okay, now y'all shoot it. We haven't shot since the second quarter. You can't do that. And immediately after that, the difference that I see in Trey Young and DeJounte Murray is DeJounte Murray owned up to that. In the next game, we ended up playing Miami, and we got Collins involved. Collins had 23 points, 14 rebounds against Miami. But Trey was aloof. When he doesn't have the ball, when he is not in command, he just stands in the corner, kind of like some of these other players that pout.
And that is the unfortunate part about how good our team could be. What are the chances that you could have Trey not be the first, not shoot the first amount of shots, not shoot the most shots or the second most shots, and you still get a locked-in Trey? What do you think is the probability of that actually happening?
Well, I'll push back on you with that. I don't think Trey needs to be the one to not shoot the second most shots. I think with DeJounte Murray is James Harden. Good point. James Harden does that. DeJounte Murray is a pass first point guard. When I say pass first point guard, he goes and he gets his shots, but he's always looking for somebody else first, and he force feeds John Collins, evidenced by that Miami game. Trey Young is not a pass first point guard, but he's the best passer on the team. One of the top 5 passers in the league, maybe.
Which is the most frustrating part about it. And what I'm saying is, like a night tonight where he's 2 of 11. At some point, you see that Hunter has it and Bogey has it. Why do you continue just to press for no reason?
Yeah, we are.
That's my thing.
When Trey has 10 assists or more, we're 11-2. 10 assists or more, from what I see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're 11-2 when Trey has 10 assists or more. The numbers, I know everybody hates analytics and Charles Barkley and TNT and all the people say, y'all don't know basketball, the nerds, this, that, and the third. But the numbers are the numbers. When you average 10 assists or more, and every time he's averaged double-digit assists, he still gets 25 points, 23 points.
And I hate to say it, but the 10 assists are not – he should average 15 assists.
Easily. With all the shooters?
He's getting 5 people open. 5 people – the other 5 are you're passing to a person who's a very good scorer.
Yep.
So, yeah, you get credit for it, but this is a high probability of you getting assists, the play that you're making.
Especially the way the offense that we run. We run pick and roll ISO ball and post. That is our offensive package. And when you run pick and roll, you have Capella rolling to the rim. I don't like that Nate sticks John Collins in the corner. I would rather put John Collins at the elbow, more like Kevin Garnett. I'm going to forever say that. I know I say that almost every episode, but it is. I would rather have John Collins shoot the twos than the threes, and then let Bogey,
100%.
Griffin, and who's our other shooter? Bogey, Griffin. DeJounte is more of a mid-range shooter than they do John Collins. John Collins can hit the three at 40% clip, but he's way more effective.
You don't
when
need
he
to
gets
shoot
going.
7 a game.
Just let him get going. Go ahead.
Yeah, let him shoot 4 a game. 7, 8, 9 3-pointers is too many 3-pointers.
He shot before he got hurt. He shot 11 3-pointers that game when he got hurt. 11.
Exactly. That makes no
4.
sense. That is Nate. But like I said, nobody on this team is willing to pump fake and attack the basket and try to dunk on somebody.
No,
Don't matter if you actually even do it. Just shoot the free throws. Damn, we're a good free throw shooting team, minus Clint. Shoot the free throws.
But this is not the rain on Trey parade. But it's just these are some observations that we've seen over the season.
Play terrible.
Over the season. I think I don't know about the shooting. I do see that we miss Gallo really, really badly, and not even from just a shooting perspective. Gallo,
shot creation.
Not even from shot creation. Gallo got ice in his veins. Trey makes very bad decisions at the end of the game because he's so small and he's trying to get in and distribute, but he dribbles himself into the corner, into the baseline every time because that's the offense we run. Versus if you run pick and roll, have somebody cut, he could then step back, hit the three, etc. When you do that at the end of the game, they know what we're running. At the end of the game, they know we're going to run it because that's our bread and butter. Like tonight against Chicago. And he dribbles himself into the corner, and he's only 6 feet, 6'1".
Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of pushback. Now, I'm going first respect. The Italian Stallion was if we did not have anything, you could just chuck it to Gallo, and Gallo will fix it. But I will say AJ Griffin has made 2 game winners already. So he is a candidate for Ice in His Veins of the Year award. And DeJounte Murray is too. Whether we're up by 15 or down by 15, he is going to continue to play and try to play us into a game.
DeJounte got a little bit of Trey in him too now. He when he get going, he gonna keep shooting too, but he's very aware of it.
Yes. And after the game, he will atone for, hey man, you know what? I got a little crazy out there. Because that's what happened in that Houston game. They made it personal.
Mm-hmm.
And
when he hit Buddy on the head with the 3, pow! I was like, ooh, they about to score 100 points.
And go home. Like you guys trying to bully everybody and piss everybody off every night. You're gonna get way more game than you probably want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But
now, let's talk about the Denver game. I think it's the Denver game. Is that the game he sat out? Was it Denver?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Denver game. DeJounte Murray, 34 points, 8 assists. We beat Denver, a full Denver team, full arsenal. Nobody was hurt. They had everybody playing. I believe unless they have somebody that was hurt out for the season type thing, but no little like nagging sprained ankle or nothing. And we beat them very
handily.
And when I say beat them, we had them we led almost the whole game. Nikolai Jokic played pretty. We kind of held him in check actually. Well, I say held in check from what you can do with Jokic. He had 24 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists. That's actually holding Jokic in check because he could score 30 easy. He could score 30 easy. But and then Jamal Murray had 20 points and 7 rebounds, but 20 points and 7 assists. But everybody else didn't really play that well. Bones Highland had 16 and 2. Brown had 7, 3 and 3. Aaron Gordon had 14. Whereas on our side in that game, DeJounte 34 and 8, AJ Griffin 24 and 3, Culver 10.7 rebounds, 4 assists.
Where was he at tonight?
He didn't play. He was on the bench. Nate played the Holiday brother instead. Forrest and the Holiday brother. So with Culver fouls a little too much for Nate, but he gets all the rebounds. Culver averages like 8 to 10 rebounds a game when he plays now.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now. First of all, from day one, I know them boys on the bench been looking at them Holiday brothers like, boy, we finna eat y'all lunch. I'm gonna get my shot eventually. Y'all know the man, so he gonna give you the first right of refusal. But let me tell you, everybody on the bench has to know that they're better than the Holiday brothers. And Tyreek just scored on a bomb.
Bum and on a bum ankle. You saw him limping to the end zone. He fastened everybody with a bum ankle. But the thing about the Holiday brothers, those minutes you say that are the minutes that are for lunch. Well, Justin Holiday's minutes are gone. They ate those. He doesn't play. He is strictly part of the 3-point shooting lineup when we need to take a 3-point shot at the end of the game or somebody's hurt. Other than that, his minutes are gone. Now, Aaron Holiday, I like Aaron Holiday.
Yeah, I like the whole way. He's still a little wild. He's a little overconfident.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I like his ability to play defense.
And he knows his limitations offensively for the most part. He will shoot. He could shoot the top of the key 3. He could shoot that all day. He hit a couple of them today. But he picks up, and he made life horrible for Kobe White. Horrible all game. And he, even if he picks up all court and he's getting scored on, he makes everybody tired. He makes everybody on that team tired. So
he's not, let me be very clear. He's not DeLon Wright. He's a good substitute for DeLon Wright.
I would say he's similar to DeLon Wright. It's just DeLon Wright is 6'5", and he's 6'2". Like we are the Smurfs.
Reason I'm saying it's not a 1-for-1, but trying to, especially as good as DeLon played and then wanting to be under the cap, it's not the worst thing in the world.
It isn't.
But,
it is.
And we miss DeLon.
We do. I wouldn't mind getting them back, but we don't have the cap space for it. But let's get into this Nate trade. So we talked about the Denver game. Trey decided to not play. The story is Trey wanted to get treatment on his shoulder versus go to shoot around. Mind you, Trey is having a career low in shooting percentage. And Nate was like, what? You ain't discussed that with me? I'm the coach. So there's already a power struggle there because Nate doesn't necessarily like how Trey plays at times. But Trey is the owner's boy. He brings in the tickets. He brings in the money. And at the end of the day, this is a business. And we've been calling for this for a long time. We wanted Nate and Trey to have a come to Jesus moment. I didn't think it was going to be over a shoulder injury and a shoot around. And everybody's trying to make it, and that's what it is. But that's not what it was. That was the icing on the cake. That was the camel that stroked the straw that broke the camel's back.
That was Nate drawing a line in the sand. And that's the reason I think that even the way that he worded what he worded, he said that I would never tell a player not to come to practice. Now, what I assume, and once again, this is an assumption, he didn't tell him not to come, but I think that most coaches will allude to the fact that, hey, starters come to shoot around. You do not come to shoot around.
Come off the bench.
Then the players who play for the Atlanta Hawks, they do not come to shoot around, come off the bench, or they do not come to the game. And I think that Trey understood that that Nate wasn't talking to him specifically. This is the team policy. And I think he understood the policy, and that's the reason I think he took his ass home, which was a problem.
And then the next game, Trey came back with 23 and 10, and I lost to OKC. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander right now. I'm not even mad about that loss to OKC because SGA right now is playing out of this world. Him and Zion are probably going at it right now for, I don't even know what I was there. The fact that they're playing this, what they're in the early season MVP conversation should tell you enough. So after that little spat, the Hawks ended up losing 3 in a row. Lost to OKC at home, a game where we lost the lead, gave the game away. I think that's the game that John Collins got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. It might have been the game before that.
And don't assume that the spat is over, because I don't believe that we have come to the end of it. I think we're still mid-spat. It's just quiet right now. I don't think they came to a resolution. I don't think that Trey is super happy right now. I don't think that I'm
Nate
not
is super
sure
happy.
how happy ownership is with Trey right now.
So
I think
ownership
they
is
understand
not
there's a lot
happy with
in
Trey.
life,
Go ahead.
but I don't think that anybody is happy with Trey right
Well, ownership is not happy with Trey. This is how I know ownership is not happy with Trey. They came out and said 3 things. 1, Nate is not going anywhere. That was the
now.
first thing
That's
that they
very
said.
clear.
They made that clear, abundantly clear.
Yeah.
Wow, Justin Herbert, what a throw! Run, keep going. So they said 1, Nate is not going anywhere. 2, we do not like to talk about public say something about private matters publicly, and the team needs to come together, but Nate is in charge. 3, and this was directly at Trey. Trey Young, there's rumors that Trey Young, they were not happy with his maturity and his leadership skills. What's the things that we've been talking about on this podcast for the last 2 years? Trey Young needs to improve his leadership skills. He's not a leader of men right now. And 2, his maturity seems to pout a lot. And ownership called him out about it.
Which is the same thing that Chandler Parsons said. Says Trey has to grow up, which has always been my big issue with Trey. The skill level, the ability has never been a question, but you have to be realistic with yourself and realistic with your teammates. And I don't know if he's willing to be unselfish enough to stop.
So Kev says someone leaked this situation to expose Trey. This is true. I don't. No, it was because it was a private matter, and somebody told Shams, and Shams put it on the internet, and everybody ran with it.
Well, they knew that first of all, there were people in there who knew about it because Hawks. I don't like that medium, so I'm not gonna tell you how I found out, but I did find out. The other part was Trey did not show up to the game.
Yeah, and they didn't have any explanation for it.
Yes. And considering John Collins has a sprained ankle and a walking boot, Zach Klein asked him. He says, "Where were you at?" And Trey got mad about it. Well, bro, you weren't on the bench. And you're not.
Everybody's gonna ask questions. Yeah, everybody's gonna ask questions. Like,
that's their job. Like anybody with any level of deductive reasoning is like, okay, Trey is not. I saw him in shoot around because I've been here at the arena all day. Came to training. I mean, he came to get treatment, and then he disappeared. But we know the injury is not something where he should miss a game. And that's what he kept bringing up. He was like, bro, we didn't see you. Where were you at? And why were you not there? And Trey took that personal. Bro, that's common sense. And that's their job. So it wasn't a private matter at all. It's very public.
Definitely. It was definitely public.
Instead of just manning up and saying, hey, me and Nate had a disagreement or whatever it was.
Well, he said that too, though. Now, I'm going to push back. He said, disagreements happen in the organization, but it was a private matter that should have been public. That was the statement that he kept saying.
Yes, but then he's like, well, to me, you've been seen, bro. It's obvious. It's nothing you can do other than say, all right. Like anything else, and that's what I think pissed the guy off, and I think kind of pissed off Twitter, was like, we're not stupid. So stop acting like we are.
Yeah. So
and he was like, we pay you the most money.
You gotta understand. Oh, that was the other thing management said. Trey has to be a better face of the organization. That is front office talk for we pay you the most money. We paid you max money early. We paid you in your 3rd year. You still had 2 more years on your rookie contract. We paid you in your 3rd year and extended your contract. And then we got rid of think about it. They paid him in his 3rd year. They got rid of the coach that he didn't get along with. They got rid of players that he didn't get along with. They signed a coach the GM kind of forces Nate to let Trey cook by running strictly pick and roll.
They give you the green light, and then you said you wanted your boy. We went and got your boy.
Who?
DeJounte.
Oh, yeah. You said you wanted DeJounte. You had I don't know if this is collusion. I don't know if this is tampering. I guess it's not because it's via players and not front office. But he went and talked to DeJounte. DeJounte was like, bet, let's go. You went and paid him. You got rid of players to get up under the cap. You massaged the salary cap so that in 2 years we could pay DeJounte a max money. You are constantly entertaining getting rid of John Collins because John Collins, up to DeJounte Murray being here, was really your only threat of like being the focal point of the offense.
And we've never put another point guard around you to keep you super confident. There's never been another point guard on the roster, which I think is the issue. Is now you can see everybody was like, oh, these guys are only good because they're playing with Trey. Well, you see these guys be very good when they play with DeJounte too. At that point, it's not all just Trey Young. It's that these players are pretty good. And like I said, since day one, if you find another good point guard to put on this team, they'll be fine. Super fine.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that, it doesn't help that he's having the worst shooting of his career. We did everything you did, everything that you said you wanted. Everything that you said you wanted, and now you're underperforming.
Yeah.
Before you were on the rookie contract, you overperformed. You outperformed your contract. Now you're on this huge contract, and now you are underperforming. Which is not
you
good.
Still have the same usage rate. And John Collins' usage rate has gone through the tank for you. And you're shooting all of these shots and just not making them. That's the thing that's really turned the lights on for people. Is before he was at least making enough shots to, even with his bad decisions, it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now his bad decisions look a lot worse because he's missing shots.
And you have other players that are capable of hitting shots. John Collins 40%. Clint Capella, does his thing around the rim, and I got to shoot Clint Capella some kudos. He has improved his shooting around the rim. Remember last year we were talking about all the bunnies he's missing. He still misses a few, but it is nowhere near as many.
And I want y'all to notice he's the number 2 rebounder in the NBA. Everybody thinks that Clint Capellas are just laying around everywhere. Well, they are. Let me tell you that.
Yeah,
I had to tell y'all that for a long time. Oh, Clint Capella not that good. Well, find me another guy who can get as many rebounds as him on a regular basis. Those guys just not laying around.
Oh, while we here, Kev, since you here, let me address you real quick.
Uh-oh.
Jalen Johnson has the potential to be Ben Simmons light offensively.
Great value.
Defensively.
Ben Simmons,
defensively, Ben Simmons, honestly, before he broke, was like Draymond Green type. Like he could guard almost everybody on the court. Actually, he could guard everybody on the court except for Giannis, but nobody can guard Giannis.
He can guard everybody else. He can guard everybody who can be guarded.
Yep. So, but Jalen Johnson, and what I noticed in this game, especially in the second half, they took Trey out. DeJounte's hurt. They brought Bogey in, but they let Jalen Johnson bring the ball up the court, which was, we have a Lucas stopper too. They let Jalen Johnson bring the ball up the court. Jalen Johnson had 2 great passes, and his stats aren't great. It's like because he doesn't play as many minutes, and they don't really use him on offense. But if there was a stat called hockey assists in basketball, it is Jalen Johnson. He would have all of them. He makes the right pass and the right read while dribbling and handling the ball, like a point guard.
Yes. And now that is a part where if Nate gets fired, I will say that's on him. He has not utilized one rookie to their potential. Not even close.
Till this year.
Okongwu, no. Hold on. Number 1, Okongwu missed the boat on.
Yeah.
He let Jalen Johnson sit down there and go 24 and 10 every night in the G League. When John Collins' foot and hand fell off. Play him, bro. Makes no sense not to play him. This year, we're just lucky enough. God has been fortunate, has blessed us from the heavens above and made it so he cannot not play AJ Griffin. Because I guarantee you that if there was any way where him to not play AJ Griffin, he would not be playing. But AJ has already hit 2 game winners. As unbelievable as it was, he shot 50% from 3 at Duke. He's what we paid for. Getting him at what, like 17
he's not.
or wherever?
He is outplaying his pick right now.
Well, fair. But what I'm saying is he's good as advertised.
Yeah.
You think that a guy in college shoot that well, you're like, oh, you won't shoot like that in the pros. He's actually, you know what? You're right. He's outplaying this year because he also just plays smart basketball.
He's shooting 34% from 3. DeAndre, the only 2 players there's out of the players that shoot that many threes as he takes, because he takes 5 3-pointers a game. So there's only 2 players that take more threes than him. Well, now it will be 3 with Bogey back, is Trey and DeJounte. Trey is shooting 28.9% from 3, y'all. DeJounte shooting 36.
They reference that to a Josh Smith season, so you know that.
Josh Smith averaged that for his career. And I'm going to let y'all know that was some dark days in Atlanta because we used to boo when he even got the ball outside the paint. And it was frustrating with Josh Smith. It's the same. Good thing. Good point you brought that up. It's the same frustration with Josh Smith that we have with Trae Young. Josh Smith played 3 games in a row where he averaged almost 30 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks, and like 3 assists and 2 steals because he never shot outside the paint, ever. And then he just decided to start shooting threes again. And he was shooting 20. To average 28% means that you shoot 30% one year and below 28% the other year. To shoot below 28% is bad. That's bad. And to keep shooting is bad. But it's the same thing. Oh, go ahead.
It's the same thing. Eventually,
same thing with Trey.
We just play intelligent basketball.
If Trey just decides to be Steve Nash and stop trying to be Steph Curry, he will be the best point guard, a top 3-point guard in the league. I would say best because Luka right now is he's 6'8". So he's Trae Young, but 6'8".
But this is the thing. Trey would get more credit because this team would be better. Mm-hmm. If he ever played like that, we're a top 3 team.
John Collins is shooting 21% from 3.
Because he's shooting too many.
But he's shooting 50% from the field.
I don't know why they want to allow him to shoot 2. It's mind-boggling to me. But it's frustrating because you see how this team could be very good. Mm-hmm. You see Trey. He could be the best facilitator in the NBA if he allowed himself to not have to shoot every shot. DeJounte Murray is as good as advertised offensively and defensively. I actually think he shoots a little bit better.
He's better than advertised.
I think he shoots better than we believed. And that defense and his ability to just stay in the game is invaluable because we don't get
everybody else involved. He's averaging 2 steals a game right now.
Which leads the NBA. Also, that's another thing. Trey is top 3 in assists. Like I told y'all, Capella is 2nd in rebounds. And just like you said, DeJounte Murray is number 1 in steals.
Yep.
It's a lot of important category to have guys in the top 5 to be a mediocre team. That ain't going to cut it. Now,
You're right.
Is what's going to get Nate fired.
Yep.
They're going to say these guys look too good on paper, which they do.
Yeah, Nate. Now, Nate, I said this, and I'm not trying to prophesize. And I don't know if I said this to you or I said it on the podcast. If I did, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but I'm not. I see this going the Golden State way. Golden State made that playoff run with Mark Jackson. He got their defense to be really good defensively. Then they fired him. Because offensively, there was no reason that some of the teams that they were losing to, there was no reason for them to lose to some of the teams that they were losing to. They went and got Steve Kerr, who's an offensive-minded coach, and he just implemented the defense. I think he had Mike Brown on there. Shout out to Mike Brown out there in Sacramento, making on-the-fly adjustments and making players better on the fly, like in the game, during the timeout. But he had Mike Brown, and he had Steve Kerr put together a good defensive staff to go along with his offensive-minded play style, and then you have the Warriors dynasty. And that's the way I see this going, unless Nate goes and hires an offensive-minded assistant. If you don't do that, you're going to allow Trae Young to continue to hog the ball instead of running offense and having we run four corners. We run the 3 corners and 2 corners and a elbow with pick and roll. That's all we do. And instead of having constant movement, if you have consistent movement, Trey's gonna find them because he's too good not to.
Well, also Trey doesn't. We got sold this bill of goods that Trey was gonna play off the ball. We ain't seen that.
Mm-hmm.
And the time that he plays off the ball, guess what? He's getting the ball.
Yeah, and he's waving people off that have mismatches. Now, in the beginning of the season, I noticed that the Hawks, I said it multiple times, the Hawks are taking advantage of mismatches. We was passing the ball into John Collins, Okongwu, and Capella, and Hunter. Whenever anybody was too small, we go right down there. And we were winning, going off. And then all of a sudden, we stopped doing that. We started trying to go off. Started playing 2-man ball, taking bad shots, making bad passes, trying to be fancy, trying to do all of these things.
Oh, now that set me on fire tonight. Trey had about 3 or 4 of those. Just, I'm gonna try to, bro. Come on, man. I know you want to be on every highlight, but just make a good pass, especially when we're up by 2. This is not the time for you to go analog. Or if you do, you better make the pass. That's all I'm gonna say.
And we'll wrap this up with we do like, there's 2 things that I want to see from the Hawks, because the next 3 games we play, we play at Memphis, at Orlando, at Charlotte.
Win that game.
We should beat Charlotte. Orlando gives us a little bit of a problem because they're all 6'10", and then they have Cole Anthony and Suggs.
And we're down Collins right now, and probably DeJounte Murray.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray's out 2 weeks, so out another week. So Orlando's going to be a problem just because everybody's tall and everybody can handle the ball and everybody can create their own shot and everybody can shoot over you, and there's really nothing you can do. The problem with Orlando is they play bad defense.
Which is good for us. Let's beat them in transition. You're going to have to play Jalen Johnson a little bit because you're going to need the size against Bobo, Bonchero,
Franz,
Wendell Carter Jr., Franz,
Mo.
Yeah, it's just they're the monsters. So yeah, play the bigger guys. But like a guy like AJ Griffin, you should be able to get a mismatch on offense. You should be able to cook.
Yeah. So we'll see. So I think we could actually give, depending on which Memphis shows up, Ja Morant. If we had DeJounte, no, actually Memphis is gonna give us work because we don't have DeJounte to guard him. But in order for us to beat Memphis, we're gonna have to move the ball. In order to move the ball to beat Memphis, because if you try to go and just beat Memphis 1-on-1 or drive to the paint with that pick and roll, Jaren Jackson Jr. is still Jaren Jackson Jr. Your man, DeAndre Hunter, worked out with Hoodie Mello. He still does not pass the ball. He does not pass the ball. It is cook it. Preacher Man coming back? Wow. They get Preacher Man back. Preacher Man is Jonathan Isaac for the Orlando Magic. He's allegedly finally healthy after 2 years. I'll believe it when I see it. But they get him. Now they can guard the 2 through the 5 with literally everybody. And there's nothing you can do. But in order for us to beat Memphis, we're going to have to move the ball. And DeAndre Hunter is going to have to pass the ball, y'all. He does not pass the ball. I've watched it. And I didn't notice it until Norwood said it. And as soon as he said it, I was like, dang, he missed Capella 4 times this game. Wide open, under the rim.
And the only time I saw him pass, he fell down. He fell down. He kind of just like pushed it to Griffin. And I will say Griffin should have made that shot because he was open, but he was probably surprised that Hunter actually threw the ball to him because every time Hunter gets the ball, he gonna either try to go to the basket, which I don't hate, or he gonna shoot that jump shot. But it's over with him.
Yeah, he should be the last, until he learns to pass the ball. Should be the last option. But against because
he shoots well enough.
Against Memphis, he's gonna.
Player.
This is his game though. Memphis is his game. If you want to get all the shots, this is when you get all the shots. This is Memphis. Now I do like that we got Bogey back. Bogey came back and they said they're gonna put him on a minutes restriction until he hit 5 or 6 3-pointers against Brooklyn, and that minutes restriction went right out the window.
And I do think that it is unfortunate for DeJounte to be hurt right now, but I think that Bogey coming off the injury right now and getting thrown right back into starting basketball, I think is going to give him a confidence boost. And then once you get DeJounte, I think that gives everybody their own time to get their own confidence. I feel like AJ Griffin, his confidence should be through the fucking roof by now.
He didn't hit 18 shots a game. He shot 18 shots. You got to have confidence as a rookie to go 7 for 17.
But I mean, you gotta think. Come on, man. So, I mean, that means you have a good 5. Mm-hmm. Then your first 3 guys off the bench: Bogey, Griffin, Okongwu. All.
Okongwu got a little jump shot too now. He hit 3 of them today.
Hey, and he ain't scared to shoot it. Oh, you gonna give me this free throw? I'll shoot this.
Which is frustrating. It's frustrating because John Collins could hit all of those shots and we don't run those plays for him. But go ahead. Sorry.
Yes. Now, I understand why. This is the thing. Being that Okongwu actually plays good, those minutes that we would typically stick John at the backup 5, they're non-existent. John Collins just has no time to play the 5. Between good minutes out of Capella and good minutes out of Okongwu, there's no place to stick John Collins at the 5. Unless we're just down by a lot trying to score buckets.
I put that on coaching because I think you could run John at the 5, Jalen at the 4.
But when? That basically puts Capella and that puts Okongwu on the bench at the same time.
It depends on who you're playing. It depends on who you're playing. But John also got to get in the weight room. But to say that we do play those 3 games, you said you got us going 2 and 3 before we come back home and play. Yeah, we play Chicago again. They're gonna try to kill us before we get right before Christmas. We play Orlando, Chicago, and Detroit.
That is. If there is I don't think there's a better way to end out the season. These are a bunch of games in a row that you could probably win. You could probably get on a good streak and have some confidence and have a little break in there and have some players come back because John Collins and DeJounte should be back, I would say, right around the beginning of the new year. That puts us in a place to kind of be ready to go into the season, into what we consider the real part of the season.
Yeah, I mean, as bad as we've played over the last 11 games, over the last 15 games. We're 4-6 in the last 10. I think over the last 15, I think we're like 6-9. We played losing basketball. We are only 7 games back of Boston, even though I don't really see us catching Boston. But Philly, Brooklyn, and Cleveland are all within reach. And we match up. Outside of the superstars, you take away Embiid and
Giannis and KD those are the guys.
And even with KD, we played really well. We should have beat them.
We played the Nets well because we are a good team. That's one of
match up with
benefits
everybody.
of having depth. We have good matchups. Number one, and outside of the top 3 players, they suck. Be mad as you want to about it. The rest of that team is not good. If you don't believe me, ask James.
And even Cleveland is what 12-2 at home. We gave them their first loss at home. So we match up pretty well with almost everybody in the East. Boston right now. I was so impressed when I went to that game. they're out of their playing. They averaging 120 points a game.
And we could be that good if we played together.
Yeah.
That is my only pushback on that is I don't think that their team is that much more skilled than our team. I don't think that their players are that much better than our players. I think
they have a pass first point guard though. So Boston is kind of built like in the old way where their point guard isn't a scoring point guard. It can be, but Brogdon and Smart are defensive, 3-point shooting.
They're
smart,
like intelligent. Let me say that.
Basketball point guards, and their scores can get their own shot. Right, Jalen and Jason, and then you have Grant Williams who's shooting a career high in 3. Of course, contract year. Normally, that's what you do. And they don't even have Robert Williams back.
Now that is the scary part about that.
So they're built really well, and we'll have that I'm Udoka conversation later on. Was it I'm or was it them?
It looks like Missoula says, "Hey, I can drive this car, player. You stay at home."
Yep.
Wish you the best of luck.
With that being said, before we get out of here, let's talk about the Braves. It's so hard to say goodbye to Dansby Swanson. No, Dansby Swanson. The Braves. The Braves offered Dansby Swanson basically a $16 million a year contract that averaged out to 6 years, $100 million, I believe. He said no, which he should be. He should say no. Everybody else getting paid $390 million. I know Aaron Judge is really good at $360 million and all, but when the dude from Philly got 300, I was like, well, Dansby got at least 125. But Dansby even countered and said, I want 140. And the Braves
and there is a major difference between Aaron Judge and Dansby Swanson. You want to know what the difference is? A championship. So yeah, don't forget about that part. Yeah, right there, that ring. So I'm not gonna let myself get emotionally attached because I listened to what Snicker said in the interview.
Snicker basically said it's over.
Yeah, he's already made peace with it. And if he's already made peace with it, then it sounds like I should do the same. I think that this is a bad move. This move has already been attributed to Alex Anthopoulos. Now, the one thing that I will say, where he does get a lot of bail is he's put together one of the best teams in MLB, put together a World Series team.
System.
He retooled the team to be a 100-game winner, and he also got Matt Olson. So at this point, while I don't like what's going on,
and Vaughn Grissom and Rookie of the Year and Strider,
the Rookie of the Year, and the second place Rookie of the Year.
Strider.
So
yeah,
yes, which Dansby is very frustrating, specifically after we lose Freddie the way that we did. But until we don't look good, we can't really be mad.
No, you can't.
But
but you should be able to negotiate. Like what I see with Alex Anthopoulos is that he has a number, and Alex Anthopoulos will be like, "This is the number, and I'm not negotiating it." Which I understand that for players of a certain caliber. With Dansby though, you gotta negotiate. If I'm offering you 100, he counters with 140. What does that mean? The middle is 120, and that's obvious with what they wanted, which is the same thing Freddie wanted. Freddie, we wasn't even about the money. Freddie just said, I just want to have the 6th year. If I get the 6th year, I can retire here, and I'm done. And Alex Anthopoulos said, we're not doing 6 years. Well,
and I hate to say
that's an issue for me.
Especially looking at what Aaron Judge gets paid is $40 million. Is it really worth keeping your $40 million and not having Freddie Freeman and Dansby Swanson? That is the golden question. And I just, in my, whatever it is, an extra $40 million in baseball terms, bro, you lose. And how many times you get lucky? Say this Matt Olson thing works out. do you really have that much confidence in yourself again that you can go get the number one de facto leader of this team and go find somebody else?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. You have to. You have to have that confidence. You have to have that confidence. You have to, in order to be
is that hubris or confidence?
Well, World Series championship, division lead, rookie of the year, second runner up, multiple Gold Glove, Cy Young award. Yeah, that sounds like confidence to me. It sounds like proof of concept. So,
yeah, that's all well and good until it breaks.
Yeah,
And I don't want it to break. I'm just concerned, man. It's my team, and I'm trying not to get emotional.
So I said it's so hard to say goodbye to Dansby because it looks like Dansby's probably going to be out of there. So that's our Braves news. Dansby looked like he's about to leave. He's been negotiating with no teams inside the division. Thank goodness. But if it were me, I'd go right to the Phillies or the Washington Expos if they're gonna pay me, and I'll be right there, and you gonna see me or the Mets because the Mets have been proven to spend a lot of money to be mediocre.
If he goes to the Mets and they pay him, I'll be sick.
And you'd have to see me I'd try to hit a home run every game, and you'd have to see me every single game.
I try to hit you every
game. So that's our Braves news. Let's talk about these Falcons real quick. Desmond Ridder.
One thing to talk about.
We finally are playing Desmond Ridder. They have benched Marcus Mariota. Not only did they bench Marcus Mariota, they signed a quarterback off the practice squad from Tennessee, which means Mariota, they were just disgusted by him. And I mean, his passing, he had 167 passing yards against Pittsburgh, 174 against Washington, 131 against Chicago. I mean, an NFL quarterback passing for 131 yards is atrocious. I don't care who is on your team, including Justin Fields. I know y'all, what about Justin Fields? Passing for 131 yards is atrocious in the NFL.
It's unacceptable. We can't use draft capital for you give us that on off.
Nope.
But, I mean, congratulations on doing this 100 weeks too late. I've been asking about this since probably week 4, which means I was right. It just means that you were stupid and hard-headed, which is fine because I can't help you make better decisions. You have to make them on your own time. I guess this is better late than never, and I'm glad that he did not wait too late. We're still in competition to win the NFC South and make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, thanks because the Bucs lost.
I just wish, thank the Bucs for they have been doing us some big favors. They have blown a lot of games, and I mean, they don't even look competitive right now.
Nah,
we look like the best team in the NFC South. I don't care what anybody says. And I hope that Ridder can get it together and show us something on offense. If we could just get a quarterback who give us consistently 275 passing yards, we would easily be in the playoffs.
We would. Hopefully, I mean, our last 4 games, we play. Our last 7 games. No, 4 games. Our last 4 games. Dang, this season went by fast. We play at New Orleans, coming off our bye week. Big game, division game. At Baltimore, Lamar might be hurt. On Christmas Eve. Versus Arizona, very winnable. Versus Tampa Bay. We can win out those 4 games, and we'll end up. We are only. Where are we? We're what? 5-8. The Bucs are 6-7. I mean, they're only a half game ahead of us right now.
Correct.
Dang, sneaky.
And we
Tom's
hold the
games is watched like his Botox job. Yeah, we all knew Tom had Botox.
Hey, least of my words. But for me, it's frustrating because had you played Ridder earlier, we probably would be in the lead versus playing catch up, which is frustrating. So? Yeah. I mean, and I'm not a Mariota hater, but I think that everything that Marcus Mariota did,
Ridder can
I hope that Desmond Ridder could at least, if he can't do that much, well then go ahead and let's lose these games in the first place and go ahead and get us a draft pick anyway. That was always my end game is Mariota helping us win games doesn't help us move the needle further. If Ridder is not good, let us know he's not good so we can come up with a game plan.
Yeah. Yeah. In the division, unfortunately, in the division, the reason we're in third place behind Carolina is because Carolina quietly has kept us 3-1 in the division, and we're 1-3. The Taints are terrible
Oh,
as
they the
normal.
only team. Wait, hold on. Didn't we beat the Bucks?
The Bucks, no, we lost to the Bucks. They cheated us.
Oh, they cheated us. That game is so important now. Damn, that is terrible. Had we not got cheated in that game, we would be in first place.
The
And I want to
running,
reiterate this. We have never been the worst team in the NFL all season. Not at one point, no matter when you look, we have never been the worst team in the NFL, like y'all said. I want
we never
everybody,
will
I want
be.
the people in the front, and I want the people in the back to hear this very clearly. The Falcons, for this entire team, entire season, have never, ever, ever been one of the worst teams in the NFL. I'm done. I am
Yep,
past
yep,
this.
yep. So everything is in front of the Falcons. Everything is possible. If it seems like to win the division is the first team to 500. Whoever can get the 500 or more is gonna
The
win the
bar is in
division.
hell.
But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's late. We appreciate y'all for jumping on with us this evening. We've come to the end of the Splash Cast, the ATL edition. We've talked about the Hawks in depth. The Braves said goodbye to Dansby, and the Falcons. Hopefully, we get Ritter. Ritter is comparable. Norwood, if we didn't miss anything, man, take us out.
All right. Number one, and we will continue to push this until it cannot be pushed anymore. More black baseball. More black baseball. More black baseball. And happy birthday to my little sister. It's her birthday today. She turned 7. Everybody loves Libby. Number 2, more black cowboys and more black cowgirls. Number 3, and by far the most important, the historically black college that you went to, your cousin went to, your mother went to, anybody in your family or any of your friends, send some money over there. The historically black college and university in which the neighborhood that you live in, the one that you go to events, tailgates, all those type of things, send some money over there. Number 3, the greatest learning institution in all the land, the Hampton University. Send some money there. We were only asking for $18.68 for the year that Hampton was founded. That would be great if you send it on behalf of the Splash Cast or in conjunction with the Splash Cast. Also, while we're here, I just found out that Jackson State also is losing their defensive coordinator. He will be going with Deion to Colorado. So once again, support those guys. They continue to try to rebuild and figure out how to move forward after their team has been purged. With that said, we thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. Good night. Adios, amigos. It's only one thing for me and Reggie to do now, and what's that? Hang out.
Remember to like, subscribe, rate, review us on all your DSPs. The schedule is on Instagram. The latest Splashcast 12-pack will be uploaded to Instagram, Apple playlists, and Spotify. You can find us on Twitter @ or just go to the link tree in our Instagram profile.